grown the team to over 18 valuable team members. They strive to provide the best experience for clients. And so, again, a perfect person on the panel. Well, maybe not a perfect person, but a good one to work with Ken right up here. And we're welcoming Matt as well. He has, in his team, sold over 405 properties in 2021 and did 110 million. So I think his team knows something. He's published The Ultimate Guide to Buying a Home, which hit the New York Times bestseller list on launch day. So that's quite an accomplishment. All right, and I'd like to welcome Nancy Weber. Nancy Weber, come on down. Okay. Nancy is with Keller Williams Peace River Partners. She has been in real estate for over 21 years and started as a nurse and an EMT in her career and profession prior to becoming a realtor. And so we're excited to have her on this panel. Just about a year ago, you added a partner, Michelle Tamayo, and so she's no longer a single agent, but they work as a team. And their production, before that, her production was somewhere between 15 and 17 million a year, but now with the addition of a great partner, they're going to the top, so that's exciting. So the other person I'd like to welcome up is Deanna Heminger. Deanna is the moderator for this panel. And Deanna moved here in 1978 when she must have been a very small child. And she grew up and was raised here in Southwest Florida. She has also raised her family and has 2 adult children who are in real estate and pursuing exciting careers in the field. Deanna has an extensive background in real estate, sales, and compliance. She is an accomplished regulatory compliance specialist with over 15 years of experience in both domestic and international compliance, risk management, and sales training on a national level. She is the current Director of Sales and Business Development for Suncoast One Title. And so I'm going to turn it over to her so that she can get this panel going, and we're really looking forward to all your great tips. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kay.
Yeah, you've got that?
Am I good?
And do you need this for that?
They have one. I got this.
Should we do another?
I can go with the stick mic if it's easier. Let's just go with the stick mic.
Hello, does this work?
He's gonna turn it up. You had to push this up.
Okay, can they?
Okay.
They even put a note on it.
And then their mic is for them. You guys can come.
With an arrow on it.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for our first panel. Thank you for being here. And how about just another round for Frank Murphy? I was really inspired about you. So we'll jump right into it, and we'll start with the first question. What does customer service mean, and how does this pertain to real estate?
Does this work? Here, try it on.
Just Trey.
Technology is not my specialty. Well, I haven't really sold any real estate for about 3.5, 4 years, but I have done a lot in my past. So customer service is basically just be fair and honest. When you have a customer, you have to be fair and honest and get that out. We've got some really good panel members on here that can talk more in detail how they're doing it today. But I think it goes without saying, you got to be fair and honest. If you want to take it to the client, then if you want to use the word client, then I guess we got to take fiduciary responsibility in play at that point. I really think that's important to understand what the customer wants, and I can go into more detail as we go through some of these questions. But I think sometimes we forget about the people involved here, and that's my main answer to that question.
Sure. Matt, Nancy, what do you guys have to add?
Customer service. I don't know about anybody else in the room, but I feel like it's being lost over time, right? Fiduciary duty, absolutely, honest, fair to everyone. But our ultimate goal is forever clients. It's taking care of them, meeting them where they're at, because everyone's in a different place, right? Some have bought and sold 50 properties, some, it's the second one, and it's been 20 years. What do they need? You know, what is their home need? So we pride ourselves in, one, there's not a person on my team that doesn't genuinely care about people and care about what they do. I'm a firm believer, otherwise get out of the business and get in something that you do love. But then it's again, meeting them where they're at and then providing them those services, whether it's staging a home, cleaning a home out, packing things up. I feel like that a lot of businesses out there need to get back to service, and so we try to provide it every day.
You never know who you're going to turn around, they're going to become your customer. So every day we've got to look at people and treat them as if they're our next customer, no matter how much business they do or don't do.
Well, and you know, being a realtor, we're professionals, you know, and there's so many that, I don't know that they put that in the forefront, and I think it's really, really important to know that they're coming to us for guidance. They're coming to us for that security, and I feel like we should all be providing it.
Sure.
I think customer service is probably your first thing, especially if you're on a one-to-one. You got to be eyeball to eyeball in order to get their attention. We're so easy nowadays with texting, emailing. Sure, it's good follow-up because then you've got the paper trail. But I think talking to them and being able to meet their needs, understand their body language is very, very important. And you definitely have got to answer your phone. One of those people that work 9 to 5, and I take calls, you know, up till 6 o'clock, and then you don't get me till the morning. That's your style, that's fine, but it's not mine.
It's a 7-day-a-week business.
24 hours,
24
25 hours a day,
That's right.
8 days a week.
That's right. That's right.
I even text in church, but I won't talk.
Very, very good, guys. Thanks. What do you value the most in customer experience, and how do you deliver that to your clients?
You know, this one, knowledge, expertise, and follow through to know the business, stay current on the business. We all know how many changes there's been just looking back the last couple of years, right? And you know, I feel like it's our duty to stay current on what's going on so we can provide the best for them. And then the second part to that is continuing the education to make sure that you have that. Whether it's coaching, whether it's someone in your office, to me that's, yeah.
Sure. Can I ask a question in that? Especially to some of the newer agents in the room that may not have been in this as long.
Sure.
Is there anything wrong with looking your customers in the eye if you don't know the answer, but you know you can get the answer with honesty and transparency? There's nothing wrong with not knowing the answer on the spot. Would you agree or disagree? And can you speak to that?
I agree, and we talk about that a lot on our team, and especially when we have new agents, that's something that we definitely talk about. I think it's wrong if you don't do that
Sure.
and you just give an answer because let's face it, you're nervous, you don't know, you want them to like you, you want to earn their business. Well, the right way is go get the right answer. As long as you do that and you're up front with them, I can tell you it always works out this way. They actually respect that and respect you more, and now they know they can trust your answers.
Sure.
As soon as you guess or I think, without that confidence, it's not going to be a good relationship.
Sure.
I can remember first starting, and I never sold a thing in my life, and I was an agent with another agency, and I was a nurse, so when they would ask a question, I would say, I don't know the answer, but I know who does. But now if they asked me about blood pressure medication or illnesses, I never told them I was a nurse because then you got tracked into that. But it's still, unless I didn't think I was going to get them, then I would tell them I was a nurse, and man, they wasn't going anywhere, just in case they needed CPR on some of this sticker shock. But that's the main thing, is just to say, I don't know, but I know who does know, and I'll get right back with you.
Sure. Ken, I'm going to pose this a little bit to you. In that vein, how important are the systems you have throughout your brokerage essential to your customer service?
Well, first of all, it's us, everybody in the room. It's the people. It's what we do as agents, as professionals. A lot of us have tools no matter what brand we are.
Closer to
but
your mouth.
Do we use them? Oh, that's the first time nobody could hear me in a room. And I wear this red jacket. I don't see a lot of red on. I wear it at Christmas and to Keller Williams events. All right, and I really appreciate being here. But back to what you were asking me. The tools that we have, we don't use them. And if we have them, we don't develop the skill to be able to use them. I guess I'm going to go ahead, and this answers a lot of the questions I think they're going to ask. But one of the biggest gaps in my mind is the skills that we have as realtors and the tools that we all have out there. When we have to practice these skills. See, to me, that's the most important part, and I don't think we do that enough. I'm not, as a group, I don't think. I know everybody's out there saying, I do. But you have to go over your skills. You record yourself talking on the phone. Get better at it. That's the knowledge that we need. I know I'm a big sports guy, and I used to coach basketball, and Michael Jordan always said, skill will win you games, but knowledge will win you the championships. And that's so important to understand. We think, so many of us new ones get in the business and we think it's easy. Well, it's not easy. Our clients thinks it's easy. It's not easy. Let them know what you know. So I think, did that answer your question?
Yes,
Ralph?
yes. I think Matt had something to add.
Everybody has different skills though out there, so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to that, as far as, we do have a lot of tools, right? Technology, we get calls every, 5 hours, it seems like, with something new to sell us. I think we have to remember that those tools are great and to add to what we do, but this is a relational business. Real estate is a contact sport. And, keep it simple. Build those relationships and then use that technology to assist and help with that.
Exactly.
But that's one of the mistakes, or I feel like is a mistake that I see more and more, is people putting things on autopilot and not really genuinely connecting.
Sure.
And I am not a real tech person either.
She
I
is
do-
not.
Paper and pencil is my
It
friend.
never fails you.
It never
doesn't.
fails me, and I'm
You know what? It
comfortable
still
with
works.
it.
The magic
Right.
pad.
That's right. That's right. So I get maybe 25% of the people that still like paper and pencil. But anyway, the tools are phenomenal, and they're all over the place. So pick a couple that you do like. I don't use all of them. I use some of them. With Michelle coming on, she's definitely more techie than I am, and much better in front of the camera. But you just need to use a few of them, and it will make a huge difference.
Sure. So, moving on, what do you value most in your customer experience, and how do you? Oh, I repeated. I apologize. What do you see as the biggest gap in the real estate market in terms of customer service? This is a multiple part question, so we'll start there. What do you see as the biggest gap in the real estate market in terms of customer service? I think we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah, I feel like I keep going down the same path, but I believe firmly in it. It's relationships.
let's do this.
That's the gap.
How about this? Where should we improve? Where do we need to improve that gap? To close that gap a little?
Sure, but
And how do you and your business fill that gap? So we'll just add that.
well, we fill it by continuing to add communication throughout the process.
Sure.
We added a client care coordinator this year, to stay in touch with them, to stay, as well as the agents, but because that's the gap that I see everywhere. That, everyone now you get penalized, if you don't use some people's technology, banking, stuff like that. I feel like we're losing touch. So obviously, I'm Keller Williams through and through. I love the vision of Keller Williams, and so we use a lot of their technology with it. But yeah, it's keeping it simple and staying in touch with them, and not just put it on autopilot.
Sure,
And so we teach that. Our team, that's what we do.
sure.
So.
Ken, Nancy, what do you guys have to add to that?
OHTs, overcome objections. I'm constantly hearing agents in the industry that don't ask enough questions. See, people don't, our clients and customers don't care what we know until they know that we care. So you have to ask the questions in order to understand why. And we've all heard the objections, right? I don't think we teach that enough. Objection handling is really, really important. All that technology that we've had, objection handling, I've been 37 years in the business, the same ones still come up, okay? Well, that's all I want to pay. Why? Are we asking questions? No, that's all. My customer has to get this. Why? Why do they have to get that? I only want to pay blank in commission. I know you've heard that one, right? Why? How do we overcome those objections? So we've all been taught tools to do that and techniques, and I think that's a real problem in our business. Going to these kind of events like we're doing today, this is really great. You all know FAR is later at the end of next month, right? That's a great place to be. NAR is in Orlando this year in November. That's a great place to learn skills and techniques and get around other agents. But that's overcome objections. That's a big one online.
And I think a lot of times we have that ability, we have that knack, especially us women, when we want to persuade a new couch or whatever it is. So I mean, I think we, and men too, I mean, I've seen that happen. But I think we have those skills. We just don't pertain it to real estate, but you can do the same thing. If you're going to show houses, you show the best one first. It sure makes that tour a lot easier and a lot faster because they'll compare everything. Otherwise, if you start with the worst one, or the one that's less desirable, I should say, they will constantly model it on every time. So you start. So I've learned that over the years too. A couple other things.
That's really good. That if you start with the first one, then do I need that? Can you hear me in the back? If they start with the first house, like she does, and it starts getting worse, they start saying, oh wow, I better go back to this one. If you start with the worst and you're working your way up, wow, if I keep looking, it just keeps getting better. It's, that's just part of it.
One other thing
Sure.
to this, the gap is also knowing, and being an expert in what we do. And so you can communicate that to them and you can genuinely help them.
Sure.
I feel like that's definitely a big gap.
How many of us struggle with listening, but truly listening, not listening, preparing your response as the conversation's happening? Are we really hearing our customers? Can anybody identify with that?
Okay. If you ask effective questions and find out, like back in the days when I carried 30 to 60 listings at a time, I always sat down first and asked a list of questions. And I find out, how can I help them? If you don't ask questions, you don't even know if you can help them or not. And I'll go back to the first thing I said, honesty. Be upfront. So how many have been on an appointment where you said, boy, if I sell this house out from underneath this poor elderly lady, where's she going? Ask that question. I think it all comes down to, and for me, it comes down to, why am I in the business? Is it the awards? Is it prestige? Is it the money? No, we're here to help people. And that's what we're put here for. Frank's talk was really great. We're here to help. And that's what I think we forget. And if we ask questions, we can find out how we can help them. And then we can deliver what it is that we can help them with. I'm sure he's been on a lot of appointments where you thought, I can't help these people, okay? They're not gonna cooperate, they're not gonna listen. Why do I need that listing, correct? You've all been there. You should go on a listing appointment to see if you can help these people. If you can't, get out of there. So,
Thank you. Yes, definitely.
It's kind of like putting puzzle pieces together. And when somebody comes into the office, or if I go to their house, I usually say, okay, what's your story? Everybody has a story, so tell me what's going on. You know, we know about the house, but right now I'm not concerned about the house. Let me ask you, what are you gonna do? And then you know, bring up, it's kind of like finding out what the illness is, and you have to ask the 3D questions to get that.
Thank you. So how do you stay current in the changing market? And what do you see changing as we continue to move into a shifting market? You're up, Redcoat.
I see, okay. No, it's good because that's a really good question. We're all hearing things out there right now. I don't get it from the news, and social media isn't gonna give me the stats that I want. I constantly am bringing up NAR. They give you some really great stats right now. Our local board gives us some really good stats. Understand what's going on there. Follow politics a little bit. I just, you know, pull my hair out, but you need to know what bills, especially in Florida. There's a lot of things happening right now. Okay, we've all heard the R word, recession. 37 years. How many? I've been through one big one and a lot of little ones, and we're about to hit one if we're not already there. This quarter, if not, the beginning of next quarter, depending on who you talk to. But we are there, like he says, I think we are. What do we got? 8.5%. I forgot what I was going to say. 8.5% inflation in May. So we're like, wow, that's terrible. Did anybody hear last month? 9.1. And that doesn't even include housing, how far our house prices went up, or rent. So it's real important to follow that. Interest rates, we're following that a little bit, right? Everybody's into that. 18% variable, my first house. Wow. Okay, I've been in it 37 years. I can remember in my office, we threw a huge party and invited all the spouses when we got to 12% interest fixed, okay? So there's houses being sold at no matter what interest rates. We eventually may see variable rates again. I applaud the agents now who are selling something like assumable loan. Does anybody remember that? Or, you know, that's the only way we could sell when I got in the business, almost, assumable loans. I think you have to move. Everybody buys and sells no matter what the interest rates are, okay? We're clearing out the ones that said, I'm gonna make some cash, okay? We're clearing those out right now. And as far as realtors go, 100,000 new realtors just in the first 6 months of this year in the nation. All right, work on your skills. Get your knowledge up there. We're gonna lose some people. We always do, okay? Like Frank says, and like everybody up here will say, it's not how long you've been in the business. That isn't what gets it done. It's what you know and how you wanna, you know, get your craft where it needs to be. That knowledge has to take over. So I don't wanna be all gloom and doom. What do we got? 6 of the top 10 companies in the last recession are booming right now, and they did it in the recession. So don't sit and tell yourself stuff. Your mind is very, very powerful. I just driving, I'm 2 miles from this event. I don't know how many billboards I passed. People are spending some money right now.
Sure.
And most people, when recession hits, agents, they pull in. Companies pull in. You want to be smart, but spend a little money. Stand out. There you go.
When I hear shift, I hear opportunity. And I think it's here, obviously, and we should embrace that and position ourselves and our clients, you know, the best that we can. What do I do to stay current? Well, and I know not everybody in here is a Keller Williams agent, but one, that's why I'm at KW. because I believe in Gary's vision and the company's vision, and they provide a lot of resources. And so, you know, we were having these conversations on you know, months ago, if not a year ago, to preparing for this shift. And then also continue, you know I talk about continuing education. I joke, but I'm kind of dating 3 coaches right now. But I'm a firm believer in investing in yourself, and think, you know, you change over time. My role with my team has changed. And, you know, if you embrace that and go, okay, you know, what does my team need from me right now? What is the most important? And then go get the right person. So invest in yourself, you know, and or if you don't, you know, in the beginning, maybe it's another agent that helps you, you know, and it doesn't cost you a dime. It costs you time. But that's how we do it, and all the way throughout my team.
Sure.
So now some of them have coaches, and it's made a big difference.
Thank you.
Well, if you really think about the shift, it means sell houses in a fluctuating timeline. And if you do the SH, you get it? Okay. Wanted to make sure that everybody knows the market shifts all the time. It's like the stock market. So everybody, you know, sometimes gets in the mood where the sky's falling and, oh my word, it's going to hit here in about 10 more minutes, you know. But it always changes, and we have to change with it. So sometimes it's a little more severe than other times, but yet, you know, you roll with the punches.
Thank you.
One last point to that is if we do the same thing over and over and over through every market, there's no way you're going to have the same success, because it's different. So we have to shift with it and keep our mind open and our eyes ahead, and you know, that's, you know, how you tackle it.
Right. Touching on something Frank said about being in the right position, and you guys as brokers and successful agents and have teams, how are you guys communicating, or how often do you feel the need to communicate to your team as it grows to keep on top of mind for you that you've got your team in the right positions? Do you find yourself having to shift that up as you guys go through different markets?
Shift the conversation, or shift how often we meet, or
Shift the conversation, and then to that, based on those conversations, how often do you feel it necessary to shift things around in your own team to keep things on the right path?
we have meetings weekly.
Weekly.
Absolutely. And you know, of course the message changes. The need of information changes.
Sure.
But yes, weekly. You know, my responsibility is longevity for the team and health of the team, and I want to make sure that they have every opportunity that they deserve within the team. To do that, I've got to stay in the numbers. I've got to know them. Is it scary sometimes? Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
But you know, that you cannot just again do the exact same thing and think you're going to get the same results. So,
Makes sense.
So yes, often we talk often.
Sure, thanks. Ken, Nancy?
Well, being a single agent before Michelle came in, I had my little talk to myself every morning in the mirror before I got street ready. But now with Michelle being in the room, we talk constantly. My assistant, who's been with us for 17 years, gets in on those too. And so it's just a matter, but we're a much smaller group than what Matt deals with, or maybe what you deal with. But you still have to have the communication part.
So we're coming down to the final few minutes. So to summarize, would you guys agree, you know, in winning with buyers and sellers, I'm hearing a commonality out of all of you is communication, clear communication with your teams, clear communication as you learn and grow so you can extend that out to your customers. Can you guys just make a few closing remarks to that?
Communication, yeah, it's very, very important. We talk in terms of teams a little bit. I'll talk in terms of office. I try to communicate with all my agents. So I think it's important to let everybody know what's going on. As far as your customers and clients, if we don't tell them what's going on, then they're going to hear the story from somewhere else, and it's usually not a good source. So that you need to tell your own story, whether it's listing a house, or working with a buyer, or working with your team, or other agents just in your office. I remember when I worked for RE/MAX years ago, I wasn't such a team player. My team was fine, but I didn't talk with anybody else in the office. So you can learn from everybody. So I think communications is the whole key with everything out there, but don't leave those clients and customers out either. Make sure they understand what's going on in today's market. You got to remember, some of them are listening to the news. So it's always been my opinion in life to tell your own story, or else someone else will tell it for you. And that's our job as realtors.
Okay.
No, I don't care, I'll go. Okay. Can you repeat the
We all
question
want the
again?
last word.
No, I'm good. Can you
So the
repeat the
commonality
question?
I'm hearing as we summarize this all up from you guys is you're speaking clearly and in step with communication.
Yep,
In that communication, it's helping your agents be able to be more flexible with their buyers and sellers, to extend that communication out to strengthen your customer service.
thank you.
There's your answer.
They are coming to us to be the professional.
Right.
Okay, I've mentioned that. There's a lot of changes going on in the market, so stay current with that. That's what they need, because you're right, they might be listening to the news. Exactly. And every single day, I get, asked questions, or I'm having conversations, and what they have been told or what they think, and especially around, when we're talking flood insurance and different things like that, it's very confusing for them. That's why they're coming to us. So, stay current on that, and that's what they need from us.
Perfect.
And I totally agree too, because there's so many different programs. You've got the insurance business, the home inspectors, mortgage people. They all have these awesome one-on-ones or 1 hour lunch or things like that. And we definitely need to take advantage of that so we can make an informed decision ourselves on how to present it to our people.
Thank you so much. So I believe that brings us to our first break, if I'm not speaking. But thank you guys very much. Ken, Matt, Nancy, you guys are fabulous. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very, very much.